Welcome back. You're tuning into Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW, where we help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. And now in studio, we have Chris McCain. Christopher is a real estate broker who relentlessly pursues the best results for his clients. With over a decade of experience in the construction and investment property industry, his skill set is the perfect match for the real estate industry, whether it's helping buyers find their first investment home or their forever home. Chris has the ability to create vision. He is experienced in representing sellers as well as buyers and takes a consultative approach to what it's going to take to maximize seller-buyer profit position. He has a passion for residential, commercial, multifamily, and investment real estate properties. Welcome, Christopher.
Hello.
Welcome, Chris. Your bio was like so just, deep and intense. It was hard to read.
Yeah, it's that last sentence, too, that has a lot of, big words in it.
Yeah, like consultative.
Yeah. Yeah. I had my fiance help me with that, so she's the smart one. And that last sentence stuff.
That's good.
But it's true because I, worked with you and that is how you approach real estate. And I do appreciate that about you a lot.
I think, yeah, it's pretty accurate. I mean, it's just all you can really do is just present people with the info they need and let that take care of the rest.
Yeah. And hope to advise them the best you can.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us, just start off how'd you get into real estate? Why'd you choose this path that you're on now?
Well, so both my parents are in real estate, and I kind of grew up in the backseat of a car, showings, open houses, and growing up, I was like, I will never get into this business. This business is lame. You never have time for anything. We never have time to, do the stuff that I wanted to do as a kid. So
right.
I was kind of always just in the backseat of a car doing the real estate thing. And so both my parents, they're 35-year brokers. And so now in hindsight that, I worked in the construction industry for about 10 years prior to this with various real estate investment projects and stuff like that. And it was just time for me to not be, running crews and being on the job site. It was just time for me to transition into using my skills, which is talking to people and helping people find homes.
That's so great. I mean, you have a lot of experience from being with your parents. I mean, learning from them.
But they're my parents, so I mean, I don't listen to them half the time. I have to make my own mistakes.
Yeah.
And they always end up being right, but especially my dad, he would love. I would never say that to his face.
Is he listening? I'll have to send him the link.
He might be.
Well, that's great. So, and where do you live? Where do you do your business mainly?
I live in Black Diamond. And so a lot of my business is like Kent, Auburn, Black Diamond. But, as I work with more and more veterans, I'm doing more business down south. So I will work with anybody that will pay me. So wherever, I mean, basically just from Seattle to Olympia, that corridor. But, I live in Black Diamond, so I do a lot of business locally there too.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on in Black Diamond. A lot coming up, right? And it's a really hot spot.
There is, and it's starting, the demographics beginning to change. And as more amenities become available in Black Diamond, the demographic will even change more. So more young people will begin to move in as more amenities become available.
When is that starting?
This summer. Phase 1 is due to start this summer, and they're going to have the first 700 homes completed by next summer. So so a year from now is when the first phase will start.
Got it. Wow.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So you mentioned veterans. Are you doing something specific to work with veterans, or how is that coming about? Because Caliber has an awesome veteran program.
They do. And I have a couple deals going with you guys right now with some of my veteran clients, and realistically they just cross my path.
Yeah.
Because I kind of just present a no BS way to just set all the expectations up front. And my number one goal for them is to protect their out-of-pocket expenses. And veterans love that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of veterans, just in my experience, the way they live is they pay for a lot of things with cash. They're very conscious of how much money they have and what they want to spend. And so I'm able to identify their needs really well. And veterans are great people, and I'd love to work more and more and more with them. So I just love our veterans.
Yeah. Well, you probably will because, they're such a tight knit family and, you're doing such a great job with the two we have, right? And they'll just keep referring.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Chris works with veterans. So what other kinds of people, besides veterans, what is sort of like your ideal client or people that you mainly work with?
So, obviously my ideal client is, a multimillionaire with tons of cash lying
that
around.
Pays cash for homes.
So, but realistically, the people that I end up working with a lot would be, veterans, people, investors as well. As my career kind of develops, I'm working with a lot of investors, doing a lot of even off-market deals. So investors, if you're out there, I need your number so I'm trying to build up my investor database as I do more and more off-market deals.
Okay.
But I also work with a lot of people that are in the recovery community. People that go to AA and NA. I work with a lot of people, and those people are everywhere. You know what I mean? And so I just end up working with a lot of people who are in recovery from drugs and alcohol too.
Wow.
I have my own history with that, and I just work with a lot of those people that are involved in like AA and NA and stuff.
That's fantastic.
I think it is really
Yeah.
because, you can really connect with, so much of every, what we all do is just connecting with people and
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
relationships. And when you have some kind of, common thing like that, I feel like that would really create a lot of trust with your clients.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and we're everywhere.
Yeah.
I've been clean and sober for almost 4 years myself, so it's just a way. It's a community. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so trust me when I say we're everywhere.
Well, it's true. I was just talking actually at the Icon sales meeting yesterday about, business planning and your pillars of business.
Yep.
And one pillar of business really you should focus on is like where you spend your time. If you're a soccer mom, and you spend all your time at select soccer with your kids, then you should really, add value and do things with those parents because that's your people, right? That's who you should be doing business with. And that's exactly what you're doing with,
Yeah,
those
are my
your
people.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
trust you. So, okay. And then besides working with those demographics, what about, what would you say in the market right now, the trends that you're seeing of what's happening and, advising people on, who are going out to purchase maybe their first or second home?
So what I'm seeing right now is, we're coming off a bit of I wouldn't even really call it a slowdown. It was a bit of a stall. I think we're coming out of that stall where the market kind of slowed down, and it was really the market took kind of an anticipatory stance because there was a lot of variables going on politically and with the reforming of the new tax laws and stuff. So the market slowed down for a minute, but now, because I show a ton of homes, and what I see is I see a lot more cards, a lot more buyers are out there right now. And traditionally, this is the slow time of the year. So realistically, this is when I go out and I'm able to get my clients a really, really good deal.
Yep.
Because not everybody is out looking in the dead of winter or around the holidays to buy a home. So,
Right.
so we're starting to see homes accumulate more days on market, and we're starting to see sellers that are coming to the realization that they need to be a little bit more flexible in order to sell their home. And that's great for someone that works with a lot of buyers.
Definitely.
Not so great, my listings.
Your
My listings are staying on the market for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So my buyers love it. My sellers
Don't
they
love
don't
it
like
so
it so
much.
much.
What?
It's kind of crazy though, isn't it? Because even though when you say they're on the market a little bit longer,
It's like
it's
20
still
days.
probably so short compared to
Yeah.
historically, how real estate was, but just the lack of inventory.
Well, I talk to people like my dad, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And I'm sweating bullets when I have a house on the market for 30 days. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, it's, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's literally nothing. And so it's good to have an old kind of crusty colonel in the back telling me
I really
that
hope your dad's not listening.
he's probably listening.
Yeah.
An old crusty colonel just telling me that that's nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Well, truthfully, for buyers and right now with the market with whoever's listing, they're generally listing because They have to sell. I mean, you traditionally don't list your house in December and January around the holidays unless you need to sell. So
Right.
they are a little bit more flexible. So it's really a good time to buy.
Well, especially when
Yeah.
I'm working with veterans, a lot of veterans, they need those closing costs to get covered because a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but the veterans that I'm working with don't have 10, 20,000 laying around or even the 6 to 8,000 that they would need for closing costs. So sellers are becoming a little bit more amicable as far as, what they're willing to accept to sell their house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we're
even
seeing
first-time
that
home
too.
buyers need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're definitely seeing a little bit more flexibility with getting
Mhm.
closing costs paid for, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of nice. It's a win-win still because people are still getting a great price for their.
Well, and
House.
even if they
Yeah.
can cover them, I always ask.
Yeah.
I always ask for the seller to cover it anyways.
Yeah, it feels good as a buyer, right? You're already putting a lot of money
And
down.
it doesn't
Yeah.
hurt to ask, right?
Right.
They might say yes, so,
Right,
or
yeah.
even a little bit helps. I always feel like if you can get a little bit of it too, that's better than nothing.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'll celebrate any win that I get with my clients.
So, what would you say to someone that's on the fence about selling their house right now?
Well, I would say, and this is my consultative part coming out. I would say, if you're thinking about selling your house, study this new, because this new tax plan could have some ramifications or some changes to someone who's looking to sell their house, especially if they're trying to avoid some capital gains taxes, right? If they're older and looking to retire, that this new tax plan may have more implications than someone who's younger that is just gonna buy the next house and invest that equity into their next property, right? So I would say evaluate your financial situation, and if you don't know how to do that, I have a great team of people who can help you create a plan. Identify your needs and figure out what you need to do to attack them. It doesn't take a genius to know that this is a great time to sell. And that's not just me saying it. I bring the proof. I bring the numbers that say that it is a good time to sell. So I really try and minimize my opinions and maximize the information that I present to the client. So that way they know it's not just some bearded 30-year-old weirdo kid coming up to you and saying, hey, it's time to sell. It's the info. I always let the market close my clients.
Oh my
Never just me.
Chris, you're so entertaining. I can't wait to put your picture because you don't look weird at
Yeah.
all, and your beard is on point. So,
Thank you.
Exactly.
And 30 isn't a kid. So
Yeah. Okay, all those
In
things.
this industry, you'd be surprised. If
Well,
I didn't have
it
the
is
beard,
true.
a lot of people would be like, I'm not trusting him. You
yeah,
know?
but when you can grow facial hair like that,
Thank you. Yes.
That's so,
very trustworthy.
that's so funny.
Okay, so what about people who are renting? I mean, we've got a lot of renters right now who maybe
Mhm.
are feeling like they don't want to invest in real estate or they don't know if it's time to buy. What's your pitch to them? What do you tell them?
Well, I think that there's always a lot of feelings involved. But
Mhm.
again, when someone puts the proof in front of you that financially it is a better decision to own, and not only that, in some cases can be cheaper,
Most cases, actually. it's
most
cheaper.
cases,
Yeah.
I would refer them to you and have you do your little break it down,
Mhm.
break down the numbers.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And the numbers just speak for themselves.
They
you know what
do.
I mean?
Yeah.
Well, especially if you get somebody on the phone too, you're a closer. So you'll close them, but the information closes them, and
Yeah.
the way that you
Yes.
present it is
Yep.
very understandable. That's why I like sending my clients to you because we're we're in the
like
dating
mind.
stage
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, we're dating.
Well, we're still dating. We're
Wow.
Courting.
We're still
Courting.
courting. Yeah.
Courting, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's working out. So
Oh, good.
starting
Well,
to- it's
so glad to
starting
hear
to
it.
work
I'm
out.
glad you said that live on the radio so everyone knows
Yeah.
I'm not official.
yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, we do when you are renting, we do the rent versus own, and literally almost every single time you're ahead by owning because there's a couple of things you don't think of. One is it's automatic savings, what you're putting in towards your principal, and then with your tax deduction, your net, what you're paying, in interest on your mortgage is less than what you're currently paying for rent. So
It
you're
certainly
ahead.
can be.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well.
You got some funny
You got
questions.
some funny questions,
Do
Chris.
I?
Yeah.
we're-
Right now, the next one up is go ahead, Mom.
Well, I guess you want to tell us where your favorite place to eat is.
Well, look, so You have no idea how hard it is to find out, like, to write, like, it, like, be like, okay, what are the questions that you want somebody else to ask you? And now that you say that, I don't even know what I would say
What's
to
that little place we went to in Maple Valley?
Oh,
That was
Switched.
amazing. Switched.
Switched in Maple Valley. They have a great sandwich. I actually went the other day to Fogo de Chao
Where's that?
in Bellevue. It's a Brazilian steakhouse.
Oh.
Oh.
Amazing. If you
Wow.
like a lot of meat, like they have this.
Is that one where they come around with the meat
Yes.
and you pick? Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. If
we
you
did that for Cordell's birthday, remember?
Yeah, that's like you leave in pain. You're
yes.
in pain.
Yeah. And it is a little spendy, but they do have a Groupon. They have, they have a Groupon for it. So
I think this is valuable information for people
Yes.
because not only do they want to buy a house, they need to know where to go for that, but then
they need to know where to go to celebrate.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
exactly. The
true.
celebration dinner.
Yes. Yeah.
Plus, they just know you're a fun guy now, and that you eat meat.
I guess. Yeah. Yes.
Well,
funny.
so one last question. Let's just wrap it back around to real estate.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit, like, how do you feel that your experience? You were a foreman before, now you're a real estate agent. How does that kind of correlate now into your business and help you be better in this industry?
That's a great question because, when you're going out to look at homes, I mean, you need to have someone who's going to be able to know the difference between, your T111 siding, your James Hardy, your Cedar, your OSB siding. You need to know the difference between a 30-year comp, presidential comp. You need to know the difference between Formica countertops, quartz, granite. You just need to know. Because let's be honest, when you're buying a house, the two biggest ticket items are your siding and your roof, and then everything below that, and it kind of cascades down. So it just depends on what my client needs. You know what I mean? I identify those needs early, but I'm able to, and obviously I'm not an inspector. I'm not, state
Right.
certified, and I don't go outside my area of expertise. But I tell you, I have an eye for homes that have the ability to be fixed up, what needs to be fixed up, and if that's going to make them money or not. You need to evaluate that firsthand because nobody buys a house not expecting to make some money. And I am a huge advocate of sweat equity. Unless my client's getting ready to retire or they just don't want to do anything, at that point, I'll recommend new construction. But a lot of the people that I work with are younger and they want to make some money. So that's when I come in and tell them the value of sweat equity and what it can do for their pocketbooks.
That's great
It
information.
is. It's really great advice, and it
Yeah.
is awesome for someone starting out because
Totally.
they can get so much further ahead.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks so much, Chris. It's
So
been
much
awesome.
fun.
So
My
much fun
pleasure.
having you. Very entertaining.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back from the break, we'll have Nick Bumgardner, who is the Youth Engagement Specialist at Northwest Adoption Exchange. To find out more about topics discussed today, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.